All right, you guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Cali LaVale once more. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and also like the video. Shout out to all Agent Dilemmas. And this is not particularly a problem here in America, but internet cafes never really popped off like that here. Mind you, in the tech communities in the Bay Area, particularly the Silicon Valley, there's well, I wouldn't say an abundance, but there's a number of cafes there for tech people. Because as you know, a lot of people are into PC gaming, and pretty much social media is pretty much killing that off. So it never really got a chance to take off like it did in other countries here. So, I mean, there's other ways to get around this. So being that more and more people have high-speed internet in their own homes, there's really no need for an internet cafe, because internet cafes back in the day, which our version of internet cafes here in America were the library, public computers of use, but they were limited. We couldn't download music and everything. It was specifically for studying or looking things up. It's like it was a limited were things that you could do in a library computer. Versus the internet cafe, it's more unrestricted. I mean, hell, some owners will probably even let you look at porn without kicking you out. As long as you were a paying customer, they didn't care what you did, as long as you didn't crash the computer. But let's go ahead and deep dive into it.
China's internet cafes. Here's the irony. China's most aggressive industries often emerge from the most desperate public demand. The rise of cyber cafes was essentially a marriage of affordable tech and instant entertainment. Each greasy keyboard was like a toll booth on the information superhighway. While 80s kids were still chanting slogans like, "Study hard, improve every day," the 90s generation was already surfing free on QQ. From Legend, Fantasy Westward Journey, to Warcraft, internet cafes became sacred gaming grounds between 2000 and 2010.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of missed this era. You wanna know why? Our version of this internet cafe, we actually had console cafes. Cause see, if I can remember right, from 2001 to like 2005, we had the PlayStation Cafe at the Sony Metreon building in downtown San Francisco. For those of you that reside in the Bay Area, a lot of you probably haven't been in San Francisco long enough to remember that, because a lot of people are expats now. People are moving all over this place, that place every few years. But those of us that were here from the beginning, as we all know, the Bay Area is a major tech hub, along with LA and a few other major cities. But yeah, there were console cafes. We had the Madden tournaments where you couldn't bring your memory cards. You had to really be on your A game. So our version of the PlayStation cafes were the Madden tournaments, and that was temporary. So I still like this setup too, as we had Medal of Honor, Allied Assault, and some other games. But the early 2000s was the birth of multiplayer gaming across platforms, and not having somebody next to you with a controller. You just play them online through the screen.
In 2001, Tencent surpassed 1 million concurrent users. On the first day of Legends open beta, 100,000 players rushed in. Behind those numbers were thousands of school-skipping teens and cafe owners gleefully rubbing their hands. One of China's earliest cafes, Gaiwait, opened in 1996 in Shanghai.
Wow, that's pretty early too for the electronic revolution. There was understand something about high-speed internet. High-speed internet used to only be offered in businesses, because businesses don't have time to wait for people. So it's best for commercial use to have T1 or T3 connections for multiple computers on one network. So you needed something faster than dial-up internet, which was pretty much standard in households. Households had the slow-ass internet, which was a lot of money. But now, for 40, 50 bucks a month, the same what you were paying for a dial-up back then, that's the trade-off. So internet has improved a lot over the years, let alone in the household.
Charging 40 yuan an hour outrageous, considering pork was only 2-3 yuan a pound, and the average monthly wage was just 400-500 yuan. To rake in profits, owners developed a clever tiered pricing model: 20 yuan, hour during the day for business customers, 10 yuan at night for students, and free hours in the early morning to create buzz. During the 2003 SARS outbreak, the industry stumbled upon a gold mine: the disaster hedge model. When the real world paused, the virtual one exploded. That anti-cyclical boost led to an average 23% annual growth from 2003 to 2008.
So wow, that's 5 years. So what happened during COVID? That was another virtual boost, but not for cafes.
Between 2003 and 2016, cybercafes entered a golden era, jumping from under 10,000 to 152,000 nationwide. A single location could rake in over 1 million yuan in profit. The secret? Brutally simple. Speedy internet and as many PCs as possible, running 20 hours a day at 5 yuan per hour. That's over 3,000 yuan in daily revenue break-even in just 6 months. Low barrier, high return, a gold rush. Even illegal cafes popped up in apartments and pool halls, using cheap machines and letting minors in to keep profits soaring. But it only worked because of two things: scarce internet access and a booming gaming scene. Back then, if you were a broke kid who wanted to get online, you had two options: the school computer lab, with strict rules, or the cafe.
And mind you, going to the library to use the internet is just about as restricted as your school lab's computer. We had the computer labs in our elementary school. I think it was Windows 3.1 or Windows 95. I don't even think we had internet access. It was just for playing like the Oregon Trail and stuff. They used to give us free time to play like the Yukon Trail and things like that. And the Magic School Bus game. Good times, good memories. We had the crappy Dell computers. They were good at the time. The screen was actually pretty big for that time. And I'm talking about the mid 90s. So yeah, good times when you didn't want to do schoolwork.
But why was going online such a big deal? Because back then, internet access meant games. The cafe was synonymous with gaming.
And mind you, most single households in the mid 90s, even late 90s, a lot of people didn't have computers in their households then, let alone internet access. Because see, here's the thing. If you had dial-up internet running off through the telephone, you couldn't get calls on your landline in the house. So that ties up the whole phone until you get off the internet. So when we did finally get a computer, I had to limit my access. We couldn't just be on there all day. I'll spend maybe either 30 minutes to an hour. Then I have to disconnect because nobody could call. Now, some people had call waiting for those that were willing to pay for it. There was a way around it. It's just that people didn't want to pay for all this. Especially a single mother household. They don't want to pay for all that stuff, so they're going to be as cheap as possible. They don't have the patience for technology.
From Warcraft, Starcraft, and Counter-Strike to Crossfire, DNF, League of Legends, Overwatch, PUBG, Apex, each title defined a new golden age of the cybercafe.
And see, here's the thing. All this stuff they're doing on these PCs, a lot of people don't like to sit in one spot. They like to mobilize. So now we have Steam Deck. Like, there's a lot of mobile platforms, not just the Nintendo Switch, but there's also handheld PCs with built-in controllers to where you could play these same games on a nice, wide, bright screen. You could basically just sit in a park or a library, college library, and just play away and just tune out the whole world that surrounds you. I don't recommend that, but this is just another platform for men to escape reality. As a lot of these guys are having issues with women anyway, that's why the birth rates and the marriage rates are declining, because there's too many guys indulging in this daily.
For our generation, it was where you teamed up with friends, shouted "nice" through clouds of smoke, and lived for the win. Today, the whole foundation's gone. Is the internet still scarce? Quite the opposite, it's overflowing. Even grannies in rural towns can rant about Korean politics for half an hour. The world's a global village and no one chews through gossip faster than the Chinese. Computers are no longer luxury items. They're cheap, powerful, and every kid has one. Most can run top-tier games just fine.
So pretty much what they're saying is this was replaced by this. The cell phone. Oh, these cell phones are so powerful now. But see, here's the thing. I don't think a computer or a real camera will be replaced by a cell phone. Ain't nothing like being on a nice wide screen. You know what I mean? And it's like the phone is kind of limited too. You can hack a cell phone, you can hack anything, but it's easier to hack a phone.
Unless you're desperate, who willingly goes to a cafe just to breathe secondhand smoke? And let's be real, who said gaming has to be on PC? Today's youth were raised on mobile. They're smartphone gamers. They don't know cyber cafes, but they know the Xiaomi store. Some cafe owners tried to catch up, creating mobile esports zones.
But see, the American version of these computer labs, or should I say internet cafes, instead, sim racing is becoming a new thing in America. The same setup with these luxury chairs, but you have three-dimensional screens like a real cockpit of a racing simulator, and you do sim racing, similar to Gran Turismo, which you could play at home. But if you want to take it up the next level with the real actual controls and the steering wheel and a lifelike experience, you'll go to a racing simulator. There's a place down the street from my house that just opened. I'm gonna have to check that out because it's like $20 an hour, just like the internet cafe.
But it was already too late. The real turning point? 2008. Thanks to Moore's Law, PC prices were in free fall. Owners faced a choice: invest in high-end gaming rigs or go broke. Thing is, a proper gaming setup cost over 10,000 yuan. Meanwhile, the average customer still only paid a few yuan an hour. In Chengdu, for example, launching a mid-size esports venue required millions in investment with a 3 to 5 year payoff if you were lucky. Then came the real knockout: 4G. In 2013, China rolled out 4G mobile internet began its slow-motion assault. By 2015, Honor of Kings reached 50 million daily active users. Translation? Mobile gaming was bleeding PC gamers dry. Gen Z now games, chats, and even blows money all without leaving their blanket. At that point,
Oh yeah, thanks to Apple Pay. Yeah, a lot of people are going broke over these games because you have to buy all these coins and credits. Like, these game developers are smart. They found out a way to get more money out of their platforms and their games. So to buy 2,000 credits for $20 or something, I don't know how it works. Genshin Impact, all those games. They're on platform, but of course, it's going to be more popular on the cell phone as we have all these travelers traveling abroad, these digital nomads. Of course, they're going to choose the mobile platform versus the console platform.
cyber cafes weren't a social hub anymore, just overhead. Even Jay Cho's high-profile investment in Capricorn Esports went under in 2021. When an industry collapses, there are no miracles. Cyber cafes, once seen as corrupting the youth, now look more like the birthing rooms of digital civilization. The 30-year rise and fall of China's cyber cafes is the perfect mirror of the country's internet evolution. From 40, yuan, and hour elitism, to mobile gaming for the masses. Maybe we're asking the wrong question. It's not that cafes need young people. It's that young people will always need a third space. Back then, going to the cafe meant fighting alongside your friends. Now, your friends only exist in the TikTok comment section.
And you meet a lot of interesting people in those comment sections too, because those comments could go back and forth. Whether you leave an interesting comment or a hate comment, it's going to go back and forth either way, and you might end up befriending some of these people, which is kind of weird, but it happens. It happens. Anyway, this is Kai Laveo. Hope you enjoyed this segment. I just thought that was real interesting, and I'll catch you on the next video. Have a good weekend.